Hey, this is Rachel Office again. Um, it's a Friday night in Baltimore, Maryland. Um, Hot summer night. Was planning on going out tonight, but plans fell through with friends. So wanted to smoke a cigar, drink some, maybe some bourbon and whatever. And then I was like, while you're doing this, you may as well shoot another cigar review. I made a cigar review earlier this morning, or afternoon actually, on the Hoy de Monterey Excalibur Epicure. Wonderful, wonderful smoke. In the beginning of the review, I said that it was linked to cigars that I had bought, Romeo and Julieta's Reserva Churchills. And that is the subject of this review. The Romeo and Julieta Reserva Churchill. Um, it's about I want to say 7 by 50. Um, Big cigar. I mean, it's 10:30 at night here in Timonium, Maryland. I'm thinking the cigar is going to take me probably until 12. But hey, it's a Friday night. I mean, things don't start shaking up till around 12 anyway. So I might, I mean, depending on how much liquor, hint hint, that I drink tonight during this review. Like I usually pair my cigar with some beverages. Tonight. Hmm, Tonight's a special night. I mean, I don't know if you've seen some of my other reviews. Um, you know, uh, I always mention Romeo, box of Romeo and Julieta's this. My top around the top four cigars, Romeo and Julieta. So this Romeo and Julieta, um, is a special cigar for me. I bought a box of these, a box of 20 or 25 of these. I want to say 5 or 6 years ago, so this has got like 5 or 6 years of age on it. And I mean, like my cigars sometimes get buried under other different cigars, and I'm hoping this might be my last cigar that I have of this particular cigar, Romeo and Julieta Churchill Reserva Real. Um, I mean, I really didn't want to smoke it, but I mean, you guys should feel privileged to know that I might be smoking the last of my 5-year-old Romeo and Juliet Reserva Real Churchills. Didn't want to do it. Thought about it and said, well, what the hell, man. It's like, I mean, they're meant to be smoked. There's a little sadness there, but you know, so also, yeah. So there's a little sadness there, but uh, it's for you guys anyway. So what the heck, I mean, like, may as well do it. And also, what makes it special is my favorite. I mean, the previous review, I can't remember which review it was, number 7, I think. I said that beer was my favorite alcohol, and bourbon is my favorite liquor. That's in general, but my favorite overall, like, alcohol is this right here. It's a Woodford Reserve bourbon. Man, this is the holy grail for me. It's just so caramelly, very well balanced sometimes. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It just fits me right, like an Opus does. I mean, if you've ever seen my other reviews, Opus is my other holy grail. Man, that's just so caramely and it's got fire. Um, that's my favorite. I mean, my favorite bourbon used to be like Maker's Mark. And I was out one night in a bar and I was talking to this fella. Let me light the cigarette first. Got my trusty Perdomo. gigantic freaking desktop like freaking lighter. I'm not sure how much. I mean, I've been using this a lot lately, and I'm not sure, if it's still got enough fuel in it. That's why I got my temperamental Zycar, not Zycar, Calibri, my favorite lighter of all time. I don't like the cigarette. I should light it with a cigarette lighter, but you know, I don't know. I might use it if both of these things don't work out because this one might be out of fuel, and this one's very. It's got a personality of its own. It does what it does, and I'm good with it, man. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know. But anyway, I'm pairing. Also, the other beverage that I have is Starbucks coffee with some milk. This is my other Maryland cup. You can see the Maryland crab. This is Starbucks Maryland cup. See the other different icons of Maryland, and you can read Maryland there, and the Oriole and crabs and Fort McHenry, things that Marylanders are proud of. It does make the coffee taste better. I don't know, does it? It does. I mean, you're drinking a cup that's like like making you proud of where you're from with all these iconic pictures on it. Makes your coffee taste better, man. I mean, that's how. I mean, if you're in a good mood, everything is better. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it makes sense to me. Whether it makes sense to you, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. But I hope. Oh, let me. I gotta get an ashtray. So bear with me. I always forget the ashtray, man. Good old ashtray. Where would you be without an ashtray, man? You'd be in ashes. You'd be like swimming in ashes, dude, if you didn't have an ashtray. I guess I'm in a good mood tonight. I mean, I shouldn't be because I really wanted to go out. Um, like I said, though, if I don't drink a lot, I don't know. That's a little bit more than a double shot, I think. I mean, that's the way I drink my liquor, man. I mean, it's like I just have a heavy hand with liquor. Especially with this liquor, which is Woodford Reserve, my favorite liquor in the world. Anyway, I forgot that story. Uh, I was at a bar talking to this dude I just met, and I was like waxing poetic about my favorite bourbon is Maker's Mark, and he was like, "Have you ever had Woodford Reserve?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "You should try." So I bought a shot of it or whatever, and he was right, man. I mean, I used to love Maker's Mark a lot. I mean, Maker's Mark has a lot of things going for it, like the wax cover on the thing, and it's a great bourbon. I mean, it's a great bourbon. I mean, Woodford. I mean, Maker's Mark 46 is also a very excellent Maker's Mark. But um, so I ordered the Woodford Reserve, and man, he was right. It was like Maker's, but like smoother. And ever since then, man, it's been my holy grail. You know what I mean? If you ask me, what do you like better in terms of whiskey, Scotch, or bourbon? I'm more of a bourbon drinker. I mean, I love Evan Williams, uh, Basil Hayden, obviously Woodford Reserve, Maker's Mark 46. Those are some of my favorite bourbon. I mean, I love Scotch. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I love Scotch. Whether it be Balvenie or Glenfiddich or Lafro or Lafrogue, Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker's a blended whiskey. Those other ones are single malt. I have a Johnny Walker Black that's absolutely delicious, but to me, bourbons are more friendlier. They tend to be a little more sweeter. and that's what I like about it. I mean, I'm not always like that. In terms of what I like in terms of cigars. I mean, like I don't. I would rather have it not sweet than sweet, because it doesn't need it. I mean, like tobacco is just it doesn't need the help of sweetness. But when you're drinking a liquor, I mean, it's so challenging. I mean, like you remember the first time you drank like a bourbon or a scotch. It's like you taste it, or a beer for that matter. And you're like, why do you guys like this? It's like it's not a. It doesn't taste like chocolate cake or vanilla cupcakes or whatever. It's like a weird, strong, kind of like a bad flavor. But you kind of get used to it and you crave it. I mean that's what I think. Um, I love that Woodford. Woodford, Woody. I mean, it's just like the Viagra of like, Woody. And the Viagra of like whatever. Yeah, drink Woody. I mean Woodford for a good night with your loved one. That'll sell more Woodford. They should use that as a commercial. Well, oh well. So yeah. I totally forgot what I was talking about. Coffee break. Well, we're about 11 minutes in. Haven't really even talked about this Romeo and Julieta very much. Like I said, this might be the last of my Romeos in my humidor. I mean, there might be some buried underneath there somewhere underneath the other cigars. I'm hoping it is, but um, you know, I was hesitating to smoke this one tonight because I love these dearly. It's got like 5, 6 years age on it. You know, I mean, Romeo and Julieta historically, you know, has always been a great cigar. Um, whether it be Cuban or I think either General or Atadas uh, produces these cigars. They're not Dominican, but they all have great histories. I know, the man um, who created the Romeo y Julieta company left Cuba. After Castro came in and nationalized everything, and he fled to the Dominican Republic, and this man was the man. He made Dominican Romeo and Julieta. He's a very famous man. I forgot to research this. I told myself to research this before this, but I was during the production of everything. You need to get everything in place of this for this review. I forgot about researching that, but he's a very famous man behind Romeo and Julieta when he moved from Cuba to Dominican Republic, and there's a lot of history and a lot of tradition in Romeo and Julieta, whether it's Cuban or non-Cuban. I mean, when you smoke a Romeo, you're smoking quality. Romeo and Julieta is quality. I think it's like the best-selling cigar in America. That's what I heard. So people appreciate it. I mean, I've always loved. I mean, when I smoked my first Romeo, I had no idea what it was about. Maybe 25, 30 years ago, and I had no idea. I mean, like, I'm just smoking what I picked out of the humidor at a cigar lounge or shop. And when I smoked it, I'm like, "Yo, man, this is a really good cigar," and that's how memories are formed. You smoke something, you associate it with a name, and it's like you kind of like when you see it again, it's like, oh yeah, that was a great smoke. Maybe I'll buy a few of these, or maybe later on I'll buy a box of these or whatever. And Romeo's has never let me down. I mean, some people might not consider a super premium, brand or whatever, like say Opus or a Tatuaje or even a My Father or like Ashton or whatever, but you know what? I do. You know what I mean? I taste it every time I light one up. Um, they're great. We're in it already. We're 15 minutes in it. So, I mean, to reiterate what we're doing tonight, the Romeo and Julieta, um, Reserva Real, um, Churchill. Um, uh, on the wrapper, uh, I smell a light tobacco, a little stronger tobacco off the foot. The construction is pretty good. I think the draw is going to be good, and that's the most important thing because it's not like it doesn't feel like it's overfilled. I mean, it doesn't. It's not really that mushy. It's just like probably perfect. I mean, like a lot of opuses are like really kind of like kind of like hard, but they end up turning out to have a really good draw in a way. I tell you, the one cigar that always has a perfect draw for me is the Lost City Forbidden X. I mean, I bought a box of 10 from a great website called Tampa Sweethearts. So they have a cigar shop in Tampa. Um, Arturo Fuente Jr. or whatever is the or the third. I don't know. He's the proprietor of the company. He's the brother of Carlito, I believe. And they have a great website. I bought a box of 10 Lost City of Forbiddens over there, and they were the torpedo Lost Cities. And they were going. I mean, I think I bought a box of 10 for like maybe $250 or something, which is really good. Um, I tell you, every time I clip that thing and light it up, you know, um, it's just perfect draw. Um, Very unique cigar. I mean, like I compare it to the Black Label Tatuaje. It's got that tea flavor, a little bit of rye bread. I remember now. I mean, the seed that they put in rye bread is caraway. I mean, I thought it was like anise, but it's actually caraway. And yeah, it's got that tea like flavor and a caraway and tobacco flavor. It's just a very unique cigar, very special occasion cigar. Especially $26 a pop, to $30 a pop or whatever, wherever you can find it. I mean, like I suggest you look at Tampa Sweethearts. They have like it's owned by Arturo Fuente, the junior or the third or whatever. And I talked to him on the phone. He's a very good man, and they have like so many products from Arturo Fuente and Ashton and whatever Arturo Fuente is connected with, like Diamond Crown or whatever, like JC Newman. So I mean, I suggest you check it out, campusweethearts.com. I mean, I'm not trying to promote them, but just to give you an idea, if you're interested in Fuente products, it's a great website. Hope they had kickbacks over there. Arturo Fuente Jr. should see this shit and like he'll be like, "Yo, man, how much do you want?" I mean, I'm not. It's not even like that, but I'm gonna go ahead and clip this cigar, Romeo y Julieta Reserva Real Churchill. I mean, like for people who don't know, you just want to take a little bit off the top, not too much, because like if you take too much off it, you run the risk of like unraveling the top part of the cigar. So you just want to take a little bit off the cap. You know, that's perfect. Doesn't always happen to be perfect, but it's a good night. I'm smoking one of my favorite cigars, having my favorite alcoholic beverage, the Woodford Reserve bourbon. Mmm, delicious. Having some Starbucks coffee. Um, the Friday night, maybe I'll go out later on. You know, um, I don't know. I don't know. I love women. I mean, I don't know. Is that PC to say that? I don't know. I mean, I'm just a red-blooded American man. You know what I mean? And smoke Marlboro Red 100s and drink bourbon. I don't know. It is what it is, man. I mean, I'm not trying to say you should live that lifestyle. Live the lifestyle that you want to live. But get out my trusty Perdomo desktop lighter. I mean, this thing is a freaking like Borg unit. You know the Borg from Star Trek, that cube of like whatever. It's the Borg. Look at this thing, man. I mean, this thing is a chunk of metal, dude. Perdomo lighter. I mean, I've seen this in like a. I used to go to Faders in Towson, Faders Tobacconist in Towson. I mean, I don't go there anymore. I'm not gonna get into it, but you know, they had one of these at there too. So that fan is bugging me, man. I got a fan blowing over here, and like I don't know. I don't know. You just hope that these torch lighters are windproof, you know. But we're having problems with mission control. Might be running out of fuel. Yeah, we're having problems with mission control there. Well, you know, we go to old dependable Colibri. I mean, I already lit it once. I mean, like, I'm lucky when I can lit it once. You know what I mean? And then, like, the second one generally doesn't light. So I don't know. Maybe we're lucky tonight. Maybe we're not. Maybe I'll have to light it with like a big lighter or whatever. You can see the there you go. Oh, and that fan is like just freaking like windy. I'm gonna have to turn that fan off and use a big lighter to light this cigar. I'll be right back. All right. Sorry about that interruption. Had to turn the fan off in order to get like be able to light this thing correctly. I'm gonna go ahead and toast a foot of this 5 6 year old Romeo and Julieta um, Reserva Churchill. Um, Go ahead and get this thing toasted. I mean, I don't generally light cigars with my big lighter, um, but hey, man, I mean, flame is flame sometimes, you know. And as usual, I'm gonna go ahead and toast the edge of the foot. Yeah, this helps with the burn line. In case you haven't seen my prior videos, um, so there we are. We're lit. Um, Whew, wow. Oh, let me turn that fan on again. You know, sorry about that. Kind of hot in here, man. Well, back again. Man, I'm telling you, the aroma coming off the foot of the cigar is amazing. You know, it's like got that beautiful leather tobacco smell. You know, it's If you came in late or whatever, I'm reviewing the Romeo and Julieta Reserva Real Churchill, one of my all-time favorite smokes. I do love the Romeo and Julieta 1844s and the reserves and stuff like that, but you know, I don't know. I mean, I've never smoked a bad Romeo. Um, let's drink some Woodford. Delicious, beautiful bourbon flavor. Some coffee. Wow. I mean, it's. I mean, if you look at the cigar, it's kind of got like kind of like a natural uh, color or hue, natural tobacco color or hue. It's a little bit darker, I think, than a straight up Connecticut, which can look yellow at times, and this is more like a natural or natural light natural or natural tobacco color. Man, I mean, like it's hard to describe sometimes these flavors. It's got a really nice tobacco flavor. Um, just a really, I mean, to me, I mean, really, sometimes it depends on your experience with smoking your cigar. To be able to like kind of like taste these things. Smoking a cigar is like it's sort of like drinking beer or liquor. It's like you have to get accustomed to the flavor to appreciate what you're tasting. And tobacco and cigars are the same way. They're like you have to get used to what you're tasting in terms of cigars to kind of appreciate the flavors that come out of a cigar. It's like an acquired taste. Like beer's an acquired taste, liquor's an acquired taste, coffee's an acquired taste. I'm getting like cedar. I'm getting wonderful flavors, man. Just wonderful flavors. Cedar, kind of like a leather, a little bit of pencil lead. Um, these are flavors that I love and everything because you know what? To me, like they don't fatigue my palate. You know what I mean? Like if sometimes like a darker natural cigar wrapper cigar or like even a Maduro, it can fatigue. I mean, if it fatigues my palate, you know what I mean. But like if you have like a Connecticut or a Rosado, it's like I compare it to like steak and chocolate cake, right? I mean, sure, chocolate cake tastes better. You know what I mean? But you can eat a lot more steak than you can eat. I mean, because like you can't eat a whole chocolate cake, right? But you can eat a whole steak, and you can eat a whole bunch of steak, right? And still be good until you're full. But I mean, like when you eat chocolate cake, it saturates your palate. You know what I mean? I mean, that's where I'm coming from. It saturates your palate, and it's like so much you can take. But when you eat that steak, which I compare to like Connecticut's and Rosados or whatever, I mean, you can eat an awful lot of steak, especially if you watch those television shows, those Network television shows, where like Man versus Food or whatever. I mean, you can eat a whole bunch of steak, man. I mean, I don't know. I mean, whether or not that's fact or fiction, I don't know. I mean, if it makes sense to you, it makes sense to me, but it might not make sense to you. So, I mean, I guess that's what it is. I'm tasting really light tobacco. I'm tasting cedar. Tasting something sharp like pencil lead or graphite. Wonderful smoke. as I said before, it's a 5 or 6 year old Romeo Julieta Reserva Real. Um, I don't know. It's like one of my all time favorites. I mean, these, and the thing is though, this stick isn't really gonna hurt your budget. I think you can get a box of 20 or whatever for like maybe close to like $90 or whatever. Um, that's over the internet. You might find different values at brick and mortars, but oh yeah, I love this flavor. I'm tasting leather, cedar, like I don't know. It's a wonderful, relaxing kind of thing, you know. Anyway, we're 30 minutes in, and I'm just in the first third, so you can do the calculus, right? I'm gonna have to go ahead and pause this thing, drink a little bit more of this Woodford. Think about going out later on tonight. Coffee. So it's like Friday night at around 10:57 Eastern Standard Time in Baltimore, Maryland. Um, we got a pretty good scene here in terms of nightlife. You can stick around Towson, or you can stick around Baltimore, Maryland, maybe Hunt Valley, Maryland. Plenty of spots to go to. It's fun. I love it. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and pause this thing. I'm gonna smoke. I'm gonna smoke the Romeo y Julieta Reserva Real Churchill down a little bit more, hopefully to the second third, because we're definitely still in the first third. And and I'll get right back at you. All right, so we're back. Um, Again, this is my review of the Romeo y Julieta um, Reserva Real Churchill. Um, I kept smoking this obviously off camera, um, and I'm getting like the draw case keeps getting fuller and fuller in terms of body. Flavor keeps getting fuller and fuller. Again, this is a 5 year old, 5 to 6 year old Romeo. Um, Kind of blows your mind because I mean, conventionally speaking, Cubans are the only cigars you want to really smoke. I mean, to age, and non-Cubans, you don't sit on or whatever. But I think that it's changing the field. The playing field is evening out, and that aging non-Cubans has become not such a bad thing anymore. Like I said, a 5 or 6 year old Romeo, and it's as strong as ever, man. I mean, it's got some strength to it in terms of power, body, and flavor. I'm getting like I'm getting like cedar, leather, tobacco. Um, I mean, it's such a. I mean, to me, it's a very easy going smoke, and that's why I appreciate it so much. It's like it's it's like a what do I say? You know how some people are high maintenance. A girlfriend might be high maintenance. A friend might be high maintenance. Well, this is a low maintenance cigar. I mean, it's just so easygoing and like I told you before if you saw the Hoya de Monterey Excalibur Epicure review, it's just like a it's like a very good friend. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to try to impress it. It doesn't try to impress you. It's just its beautiful self. Very easygoing, um, very very pleasant. You know what I mean? When you want a pleasant day, smoke a Romeo, an REJ. You know what I mean? Any REJ. It could be the Reserva Real, the 1844, the Reserva, the Anniversario, whatever. I'm not sure they have another. They might have another. I'm pretty sure they have another Anniversario. I mean, you can't really go wrong with REJ. Um, Now I'm going to ask you one of the oldest questions. I mean, this question might be as old as humankind. Okay, and I'm sure you've heard of it. I mean, the question is, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Now, some people might say, well, the chicken came out of an egg, right? And some people might say, well, there had to be a chicken to lay an egg, right? And then some people will say, well, a chicken comes from an egg, so what is it, right? And this question's been rolling around for probably centuries or millenniums or whatever. And I have the definitive answer. Now, I'm going to tell you, or I'm not going to tell you. I mean, if this was an internet, questionnaire, yes or no, I might tabulate the yeses or nos, but let me tell you definitively, it's the chicken. I mean, this question's been around for millenniums, thousands of years. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, I can definitively tell you it's the chicken. You know why? Because if you have the egg, right, that egg needs to have a sperm and an ova to make that embryonic chicken. So that ova and that sperm had to come from somewhere. It had to come from a chicken. Simple enough, right? I mean, no, most people don't realize that. Most people don't even think about that. But that sperm and that ova had to come from somewhere, right? So the chicken was made first. Definitively, the answer to the question of what came first, the chicken or the egg. You might remember this review for the answer to that question. The question that spans probably millennia. You might remember this review for the answer to that. I would, but I mean, like I figured it out. It's not that difficult. I mean, you think like chicken egg has to have a sperm and an ova to make a little embryonic chicken, right? Had to come from somewhere. Came from a couple of chickens. That's crazy, man. Must be the Woodford speaking. That's what it is. Blame it on the Woodford, man. I'll blame everything on the Woodford, man. This is delicious. I am in the mood for going out, man. What time is it? It's like 11:16, almost the witching hour. I mean, most bar scenes and dance places and um, don't start hopping until around 12 anyway. So I think I'll cut off this review right now and see you later. I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding. I mean, it's only 11:17, so I can head out later on anyway. But I tell you, man. I mean, living in Timonium. I mean, Towson is the next biggest city next to us, and I had some great times at a bar restaurant called the Green Turtle in Towson. Great times, man. I mean, this place was hopping, man. I mean, chicks everywhere, dude. I mean, it's like target rich environment, like as in Top Gun. This is a target rich environment. I'm telling you, man. When Towson students are Towson women. I mean, I was at Towson. I started going to Towson in 2000. I remember 2001. Playboy magazine had a poll for like hottest chicks on campus, right? I think Towson was number three, and I was there in 2001. They had that in 2001. I tell you, man, I had to agree, dude. I mean, I saw smoking chick after. I mean, they were just like so. It was, like I said, it was a target-rich environment, and and the Green Turtle was the same way. I mean, but I got tossed out of that freaking establishment. I'm not really even sure why. I think I was having too good of a time or whatever. But it is what it is, and I miss the place because they had a top level deck, kind of indoor outdoor, like the outdoor one you could smoke cigarettes or cigars or whatever, and indoor was like where the bar was and the dance floor was. I mean there were times when like the dance floor was like packed like sardines, man, and women were just like hot Towson University women were like, oh man, let me tell you, I had some great times over there. Unfortunately, I can't go back there. I don't even know why. I didn't even do anything. It's just like, I guess if you have a good time in some places, they just, too good of a time anyway. They just kind of like decide to kick you out or whatever. I got tossed out. There's a place in White Marsh, Maryland called the Red Brick Station. Got tossed out of there for having too good of a time or whatever. I think that happens to people. You know what I mean? If you have too good of a time, you just decide like, hey man, you gotta go. I'm like, what the fuck ever, man. You know. I mean, it's not like I was acting crazy or anything because I wasn't. I was just having, a socially good time, and like I don't know. I think it's happen. I think it happens at bars. You know what I mean? So I go to other places like Fells Point, Canton, Federal Hill. Like if you're coming to Baltimore, I mean, like as a visitor, um, I would suggest you go to the Inner Harbor. I mean, everybody's heard of the Inner Harbor. The aquarium, Inner Harbor pavilions. They have like they have Fogo de Chao and like Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and a lot of bars and restaurants in the harbor area. Then you get to Fells Point, which is like a historic area with like cobblestone streets and like just like these like dive bars and stuff and like a great bar scene. You get to Canton, so that's Inner Harbor, Fells Point, Canton, and Federal Hill. Um, they also have the Heavy Seas Ale House. I mean, I don't know if you've seen my other previous reviews about Heavy Seas, but Heavy Seas has an establishment called the Ale House, where they have a restaurant bar. I mean, I've never been there, but it looks great to me. I've seen it on television. It looks great. That's someplace I have to go. But Towson's a great bar scene too. I'm neglecting you to tell you about this wonderful Romeo and Julieta Reserva. Very, very powerful cigar. It's a very full body and it's like a rich tobacco, like leather, cedar, a little bit of like pencil lead. I mean, the pencil lead isn't like a sharp pencil lead. It's kind of feels like it's dispersed, which is good because like I said before, if you see my other reviews, pencil lead has a way of like cutting through the richness of like say cedar or leather or tobacco, so it kind of like bounces out the profile. There's a flavor. I mean, it must be tobacco or whatever. I'm kind of tasting a popcorn flavor. I told you in an earlier review if you've seen it. I was smoking a Reserva and I swear I tasted a popcorn feet flavor. I mean, you might say popcorn, but I say popcorn feet, like popcorn and athlete's foot. A funky flavor, but right now I'm tasting popcorn feet sometimes. I mean popcorn flavor, not exactly popcorn feet. Not that funky. That was a little thin in terms of flavor. Um, I don't know. At least you could say this thing has transitions. I mean, it's like it's changing like profile from here to there sometimes. I don't know. We're 44 minutes in, drinking some coffee, drinking some Woodford, which is my favorite alcoholic libation. Never disappoints. Anyway, I mean, like, I'm into the halfway point of the second third of this Reserva Real Romeo and Julieta Churchill. Um, I really don't want to extend this too much longer, so I'm going to go ahead and pause. Give you some tasting summary of what I've tasted. I've tasted a lot of like full body, full flavor tastes of like leather and cedar and maybe some pencil lead. Um, tobacco flavor. A very elegant kind of profile. If that's what you like and that's what you look for, I really highly recommend Romeo and Julieta. You can't go wrong with RAJ. It's an iconic brand. I mean, when people talk about cigars, Romeo and Julieta is not very far behind the conversation, whether it be Cuban or non-Cuban. Anyway, that's what I tasted, and that's what I'm telling you. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause this thing. It's a Friday night around 11:25. I'm kind of feeling buzzed off all this Woodford. I'm thinking about going out, but I don't know. We'll see if discretion wins out or urge wins out. Um, I don't know. I'll leave the answer to you to that question. Um, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and popcorn. Um, anyway, I'm loving the cigar. So yeah, just I'll catch you on the flip side. All right, back again. Um, in between, in the period where I was not shooting, I was smoking the cigar, drinking some coffee, drinking some Woodford. The tasting notes are very full, um, a very deep tobacco flavor, um, some cedar, some leather. Um, the spice is kind of light, but that's not really the mo. Sometimes of this cigar, getting the spice now. Some cedar, some leather. There's like a grain, kind of like almost an olive flavor coming in now. It's a wonderful smoke. It's just. I mean, what can you say about Romeo and Julieta? I mean, it's the most popular smoke or most bought smoke anyway cigar in the USA, man. I mean, that's what I heard. Romeo and Julieta is the most popular or most purchased cigar in America. Very that's kind of grassy, but very approachable, very kind of like easygoing, kind of like a good best friend. You know what I mean? There's no pretensions between you. You know, and you know what to expect, and they just deliver. That's some olive grassy flavor. Anyway, I got a joke for you. I really want to tell this one joke that's kind of like a little bit risque, but I really can't because it's like kind of taboo or whatever. It's kind of like sexual, and I don't know how that would go over the internet where people watch this and like You don't know what their expectations are, or what they think they should see on a website or whatever that kind of like is exposed to like many people. So I'll tell you another joke. One that's less risque. Anyway, the joke goes. Hold on. Wonderful. I mean, it's just a wonderful smoke. All right. Joke goes. A priest, a rabbi, and an atheist walk into a bar, and the rabbi takes the first seat. The atheist takes the middle seat, and the priest takes the third seat. And all at the same time, they order a Budweiser, King of Beers, crisp, clean, refreshing King of Beers. And the rabbi says, we should make a toast. Um, the rabbi says, um, what does the rabbi say? The rabbi says, the hero Israel, the Lord your God is one. And then the priest goes, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, the Lord the God is one, the Holy Trinity. And then the atheist is like, you know what he says? He says, baloney. All right, it was an amateur joke, but then there's another joke. A Baptist, a priest, and an atheist go into a canoe, and they decide to paddle out into the middle of the Mississippi River. The Baptist has two oars. The priest has one oar, and the atheist, sitting in the back, has one oar. And the atheist goes, I bet you in 60 seconds we can get out into the middle of the Mississippi River. And the Baptist says, you're on. And the priest goes, you're on. And they throw their paddle. The Baptist throws his two paddles into the river. The priest throws his paddle into the river. And the atheist is like, yo, man, whatever. I'll throw my paddle in the river. And the Baptist is taking time. So the Baptist is like, after 60 seconds or a minute, he goes, we're not in the middle of the Mississippi River. You lose. So what does the atheist do? The atheist pulls out a gun. And then, the Baptist jumps into the river. The priest jumps into the river. What do you think the atheist does? He sits there. You know why? He doesn't want to get baptized. Oh, I'm sorry. Bad joke, but, I tried. But I really want to tell you this raunchy joke. But, I don't think it's PC. It's not fit for the internet, so whatever. I don't know, but back to the REJ, Reserva Real Churchill. It's a wonderful cigar. Very easygoing, very pleasant. I can understand why it's the most bought cigar in the USA. That's what I heard. I mean, not just the REJ Reserva Real. I'm talking about like the whole REJ line. Seems to be like the most popular cigar in the USA. It's a very easygoing, approachable cigar. I mean, it can be full body. That was very full body. I'm tasting like a leaf or something, like some kind of like green leaf or whatever. Tobacco flavor. Tobacco flavor. I don't know. I mean, wonderful, wonderful cigar. So here we are. It's a Friday night in Baltimore, Maryland, Eastern Standard Time, about 11:40 in the evening. I'm probably getting ready to go out and have some fun. just I don't know, go trolling for chicas. I mean, like, we all have like things we have to do. So, man, this is a wonderful cigar. I'm glad I smoked it tonight. I forget the inspiration for why I should smoke this cigar tonight. Like I said in my previous review was earlier this afternoon, and I was thinking, I guess I couldn't wait to review this cigar. I mean, Romeo and Julietas are very dear to my heart. If you ever seen like any of my previous reviews, I'm always referencing Romeo and Juliet, a box of this, or it's in my top 4 or 5, or what top level of cigars I've ever smoked. I was inspired to smoke it tonight. I was thinking, well, is it too soon to like make another review? And I was like, I don't know. I'm like, I have this much left of my Woodford. Now I have that much left. Maybe a good shot, maybe an ounce. Um, Starbucks coffee. That's good. I think I started out with like say that much, maybe that much. Woodford. I don't know. I mean, that must be like I guess like 3 ounces, maybe 3 or 4 ounces. I don't know, man. I don't know. I love it all, dude. You know what I mean? I'm like cigars, cigarettes. Um, I guess you could say I love the good life. You know what I mean? Um, and why not? You know what I mean? Like, what makes you happy? I mean, like, whatever makes you happy, you should hold on to. You know what I mean? It's like it enriches your life, makes you happy. And what else is there? You know what I mean? I mean, work can make you happy because you're producing something, you're producing a product that other people find useful. That's satisfying. But sometimes you got to let your hair down. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to rip a fart. And it's like yeah. You know what I mean? It's fulfilling. Sometimes you got to like smoke a cigarette. I'm not saying you should smoke cigarettes. I mean, because the Surgeon General says it's bad for your health. So I'm not here advocating smoking cigarettes, but you know, but I mean, look, I mean, like to me, there's only one captain in your life unless you're married, and then you could have co-captains. But the main captain is you. You know what I mean? The captain of your life. You set sail in a direction that you deem worthwhile, and that's where you sail to. I mean, when you're married, there are co-captains of your ship. I mean, I'm divorced. You know what I mean? I have a 22-year-old son in Florida. He's graduating this year at UCF. I'm not on good terms with him. He's got a bad attitude, kind of like the way I was when I was his age or whatever, or younger. I mean, that's cool. I mean, I'm just like, whether or not that we can like, reach some kind of common ground or whatever. I hope that happens. He's a little bit too much of me and a little too much of my ex-wife. But he's a very handsome kid, very smart kid. Um, he was in college when I was going to college and everything. Um, like I said, I graduated Towson last May, and he's graduating, I think, this year, maybe June of this year. I always told classmates that a joke that like I had this college age 18, 20-year old girlfriend, and he was living with me, and brought the girlfriend home, and he stole her from me. And I'm like, good on you, kid. You know what I mean? Because he's smarter than me and better looking than me, and hard to believe, but you know how it is. I don't know. I mean, I hope the best for him. You know, I hope all his dreams come true, and he has a beautiful family and so forth and so on. But we're just not on good terms, and I mean, a lot of, I mean, not a lot, but some. That's how relationships go sometimes. But anyway, a little bit about me. I'm gonna go ahead. This is the last maybe half ounce of Woodford. You know, cheers to you. Um, cheers to the weekend. Cheers to leisure and happiness. And, you know, I don't know, cheers to being happy. Cheers to you. Mm, Woodford. Very delicious. So that's a little bit about me. I mean, like, I remember telling a joke about my ex-wife. It's like, I had a headache when I married her, and then when I divorced her, the headache went away. I mean, literally and figuratively. You know, sometimes when you're in a relationship, it gives you a headache, and when you get out of it, the headache goes away. I don't know how that works, but that is what it is. But this RAJ Reserva, just a wonderful smoke. You know, very well balanced and everything. Very approachable. Very. It's like every man's cigar. Can't go wrong with RAJ. You know, whether you're talking about Cuban or non-Cuban. Wow, we're over an hour here. Um, this is definitely the last segment of this review. Um, I've had a good time. I hope you have had a good time. A lot of about nothing or whatever. You know, a lot of, I don't know, cigar smoke. Almost time to put down the cigar. Um, all I have to say is, I do care about humankind. You know what I mean? You know, I just hope that, you know, that I only hope for the best. You know what I mean? Kind of weird how cigars, tobacco can like bring that out of a person. You know, it's like it brings out like the best of you. You know, the experience of smoking a cigar, well worth the price of admission. Cigars can be bargains. I mean, you could find a very good cigar for like maybe like $6 or 6.50 or whatever. You know, or you could go out and find great, exceptional cigars for like $15 plus or whatever. I mean, that reminds me of the Tatuaje Black Label, which is $10 a cigar. And I mean, I said in the review of that cigar, it's like that's a bargain, man. I mean, like I'll put that cigar up to anybody, to any cigar, whether it's an Opus, whether it's a Cohiba Robusto, Cohiba Siglo 6, or Montecristo number 2. or like um, a Bolivar, Bellicoso, Fino. I'll put that Tatuaje Black Label against anything. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that or Opus to me, man. Or any of the sub-laboratory Fuente cigars, like say Lost City or Forbidden or Don Arturo Anniversarios or Don Carlos Anniversarios, Eye of the Shark or Personal Reserve or whatever. Liga Privada number nines. Davidoff, obviously, whether it's like the Cuban or Dominican kind, you know. But I mean, the wealth of the variety of the cigars out there, whether they're Cuban or non-Cuban, is staggering. You know, REJ, man. I mean, whether you're talking about Cuban or non-Cuban, man. Non-Cubans were made by the founder of the Cuban or REJ. I mean, they know what they're doing. You know what I mean? I'm getting a full body right now, kind of like I don't know, like a tobacco flavor. That was kind of weak, but I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, cigars they do what they do. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a natural product, um, and they produce flavors that they produce. You know what I mean? And variety is a spice of life, and you take the good and the bad. Life is full of good and bad, and cigars are the same way most of the time, or some of the time. And you take the good and the bad. Anyway, I'm gonna put this Romeo y Julieta to bed. Reserva Real Churchill. I'm gonna put it to bed. Um, uh, Great experience. Finished the Woodford Reserve. I'm gonna have some more coffee. Um, Romeo and Julieta Reserva Real Churchill. Um, it's a combination of a lot of things. Sometimes it's full body, sometimes it's medium body. The flavor is always friendly. Um, Very approachable cigar. Leather, cedar, um, tobacco flavor. I didn't get too much spice on this, but I'm not saying that that's indicative of this cigar. That's up to you. Whatever you experience, that's what you experience. I can't say that it lacks spice because I'm sure sometimes it does have spice. Um, just a class A experience. One of my favorites. It was one of the last samples of what I had as 5-year old Romeos. Um, anyway, I talked about a lot of things here. Um, I hope it's Friday night, a little bit before 12. Contemplating about whether I should go out or not. Probably will have a good time. Um, Anyway, I hope your Friday night brings you good things. Um, Cigars are part of the good life. You know what I mean? Cigars, whatever makes you happy. Um, Anyway, um, as I always close most of my segments of my cigar reviews, I wish you good fortune. um, good health, good wealth, family, and friends, and good friends, and and love. You know what I mean? Love ties everything together. So that's my good wishes for you tonight. It's still January 29th, 2018. I'm in the East Coast, Eastern Standard Time, Baltimore, Maryland, and it's still January the 29th, 2018. And sincerely, I wish you all the best. Um, I know you're watching this because you love cigars and you love tobacco, or you're just new to it and you're just looking at it. Um, it's a worthwhile endeavor, I think. Um, Cigars and tobacco, whether it be pipes or cigars or cigarettes, for that matter. It's a worthwhile endeavor. I mean, some people might not look at it that way, but I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I really don't give a crap about what people think. Whether unless it's like relevant to what I believe in, and you know. So take care. Have a good night. I hope you have a good weekend. Hope you find leisure. I mean, whatever. And good night.